Good evening once again. M.M Out here, over there, everywhere, all over the place. And in this case, again, right here with the Apostle Leroy Scantlebury.
Yes, sir.
He who contested the last two general elections, and God's willing, will contest the next one. Sir, now, I've received some comments. Some people who like you, they think I'm a bit too aggressive with you. That I want to railroad you or something like that. But that's my style.
Yes, sir.
And I told them I haven't received any complaints from you.
Okay.
That, but it's always good to get a response from the audience.
That's true.
Okay, so Patrick from Orange Hill, you heard it yourself. Okay, now over the past week, now the Barbados Labour Party, since they came into power, they said we have no money. But I've been seeing them doing some strange things. Which, and whatever I don't see, my followers and subscribers, they always bring me up to date. Now, from time immortal, you know, we have had one police commissioner and one deputy commissioner. Now, all of a sudden, we have two deputy commissioners. And this is a situation where we have no money. And I don't think the deputy commissioner is not doing it free. And we also have a consultant in the former police commissioner, Darryl Dawson. So we have now an extra deputy commissioner. We also have a consultant who is a former police commissioner, who is obviously being paid from his pension for his post, which he has, congratulations to him. I personally think that undermines the presence of the present police commissioner, Tyrone Griffith.
Yes, sir.
Right? Who, by the way, should have been commissioner of police probably 25 years before he actually got the post, if anyone who knows this history. What's your say on that?
Well, again, the Barbados Labour Party came into power, obviously amassing 30-0 victory. And I think they bit off a little bit more than they could chew.
Mm-hmm.
That's my honest opinion. The other thing is that it's very clear that the Barbados Labour Party did not really have any real plans, in spite of everything that they were saying during the campaign. It is clear that in the way they have approached a lot of the situations they encountered, there was no real strategic planning on their part in terms of how they were going to go about dealing with these things. We have to understand, again, the whole idea of Barbados not having money is one thing. The other part is Barbados being ran properly. And what we're realizing is that we're now being confronted by both a lack of financial resources and an improper management of our country. So the two elements are now what they're dealing with, and it's becoming a major problem for them. My honest opinion is that Barbados has always had one police commissioner. I honestly believe when your time is up, your time is up. Okay, I think we should allow the present person who's now in charge to see what they're capable of doing before you can actually have it. This is going to turn into a very dangerous but frightening situation for Barbados.
But you're mentioning about what you're actually saying about, you're talking about police commissioner. I also made a point that there are now two deputy commissioners.
Well, what I mentioned is, again, not running things properly. Okay, and I said that in relation to that element of it, because we've had politics here in Barbados. We've had a prime minister, a deputy prime minister. We've never had two deputy prime ministers. I don't see why. I've never seen two deputy principals at a school, and I don't see why in Barbados, when you say we don't have money, why are people still giving posts in Barbados that you will have to pay them? and still complaining that there's no finances.
Okay, Apostle, you also mentioned about inept and bad leadership.
Yeah.
So are you insinuating that the present Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Motley, is doing a poor job?
No, I'm not saying that she's doing a poor job. I'm saying that in meeting with the elements in Barbados that are in dire need of proper leadership, the approach to what they're doing is very poor. So I'm not, questioning her in terms of leadership. Obviously, she is the leader of the country.
Well, there's no doubt, and deserves the utmost respect.
Of course, but the approach many times with the present cabinet, the approach to handling a lot of these situations is still very, very poor.
Okay. There was also a rumor this week, and it was quickly shot down by the Minister of Tourism, Kerry Simmons, about Harrison's Cave being sold. Well, they said that, and he was quick to respond. I don't know whether it's true or not, because some people do get the inside information,
That's true.
And it's also all well and good to come on the screen and say, no, because the information has been leaked out.
That's exactly.
And I would hope that they're not selling Harrison's Cave, right? And I recall in one of our interviews, you were talking about some springs that are actually in the Harrison's Cave.
That's correct.
Right? I think you should take your advice if they want to sell it, right? Instead of selling it, utilize the springs in there and see if you can aid in the water problem.
Well, again, Mr. Morris, I've always had a problem with entities in Barbados being sold to foreigners. That's the part that is really a problem for me. It wasn't even, if it is true, it wasn't even sold to a local, but it was sold to a foreign entity.
But Apostle, that in every rumor there's some element of truth. Yeah. Although it might be embellished a little bit, but it had to start from somewhere.
Well, anything like this is going to be the demise of the Barbados Labour Party. And one of the things that, again, we have to credit the Barbados Labour Party with beginning this process of selling out our local entities. We go back to the selling of the National Bank.
You say credit?
Yes.
Credit them or discredit?
Well,
which one?
Well, they're the ones doing it. So
I don't say credit. I say discredit.
Okay. Well, as I said, a lot of the local entities in Barbados began to be sold under the Barbados Labour Party, and I think this is something.
Could you give us an example of some of these things that have been sold under the Barbados Party?
As I said, and I will stick with this: the selling of our national bank. Which I think
Barbados National Bank. And was it sold to Trinidadians?
That's correct.
Okay.
Presently, the Republic Bank Limited, and I think that was a very horrible move to expose the accounts of businesses and individuals
of your national bank
to overseas entities.
Which actually controls all your internal affairs.
Yeah. So again, to have a country like Barbados. And and to not have its own local bank, that does not suggest that we're moving forward. And I think what is happening is that this has led to Barbados and Barbados being raped constantly over and over and over and over again.
Point taken. But if you thought it was done, we have another situation. The controller of customs.
Oh my God.
Now, only this week, there are now 3 deputy controller of customs instead of 1. There are now 3. So you're paying 3 deputy controller of customs.
Well,
but listen, this is an effort obviously to stop illegal weapons from coming in. So do you think that 3 deputy controller of customs can stop weapons, illegal weapons, firearms from coming in Barbados?
No, I doubt that.
Because that was the reason, that was the main reason that was given.
Well, one person has the ability to do the job. If they're not doing the job effectively, then you should replace the person. And this is one of the things that we need to understand. If you're given a post, you're not carrying out the duties, the responsibility of that post effectively, you get somebody to do the job. Okay? So somebody obviously is not doing their job there. So we've got to understand that you're not paying 3 separate salaries.
And listen,
for one.
my point is that the next 2, they're not going to settle for less than what the pay is.
Yeah.
So you're not paying is multiplied by 3.
Standard.
The police commissioner is multiplied by 2. The deputy commissioner talking about by 2 now.
Okay.
And you know that the consultant, Darren Dalton, he has to be paid in line. He's probably getting more than commissioner. I said that in levity, but.
But again, it goes back to leadership. Okay, it goes back to leadership, and I want to say this on this particular session, Mr. Morris. Barbados has lost its vision in terms of what it should have been where the Caribbean is concerned. We have to understand Barbados is not America, and it's not England. Barbados needs to be Barbados, and no matter what people think or feel, anytime that there's poor leadership, you will go nowhere. A strong leader can make something out of nothing. And as long as you do not have a vision, you're going to perish. And I've said this, I think in previous broadcasts, I've said, speak to the leaders of Barbados in the last 25 years and tell them what was their vision for Barbados. 15 years under the Barbados Labour Party, from 94 to 2008. Another 10 years under the Democratic
Which makes
Labour Party.
25.
25 years. What was the vision? 25 years, no vision. We're in trouble.
You mentioned about great leadership. It reminds me, because I know you're a historian.
Yes, sir.
The Battle of Hastings in 1066.
Yeah.
When William the Conqueror defeated Harold. Now, in those days, the king led from the front.
That's correct.
He didn't sit down and send people out. And Harold was killed in the battle, and William, Duke of Normandy, became the king.
Correct.
The first Norman king, and you can trace him right up to these guys today.
Correct.
Right? So, it gives me, a pleasure to say that you made an excellent point here about leadership, because your judge, never mind what the other idiots do, it's the leader who takes the blame.
It always comes down to...
Right? It comes to the leader. Like the West Indies got beaten, they're Jason Holden. He's the guy.
Yeah.
Because he's the leader.
Yeah.
Well, not only him, but the chief selectors as well, but he's the man
Yeah.
who
in ministry, they blame the leadership, and in every era, business failing, they blame the leadership. But one of the things that's critical for Barbados, we have to understand that every person who is influential is not necessarily a leader. And I think this is where we make a lot of our mistakes. Leadership is something that a person can be born with. It can be something an individual can grow into by having the right level of mentorship. And I think it's critical to make sure that because you're a lawyer, or because you're a doctor, or because you're someone affluent in society, it does not necessarily...
Because you made that point several times that you don't have to be a doctor or lawyer to be in the House of Assembly.
That's correct.
And leadership, but it does require some skill.
It does require skill.
Okay, Apostle, the end of part 1. We shall be back with part 2 very shortly. Time always runs so quickly when I'm with the Apostle. So M.M Out here, over there, everywhere, all over the place, saying that end of part 1, and we'll be back very shortly. Apostle,
Yes,
let's
sir.
make our exit.
Thank you, sir.